Alright, so let me just start this video off by saying I don't necessarily have anything against furries. We all have our own sexual fetishes, our kinks, the various things which we do in the privacy of our bedroom, uh, in the privacy of the internet, I guess. And there's no judgment here. And there's furries of all shapes and sizes and stripes and pelts. This guy's a right winger, and he wants to bring back child labor. So let's give a listen to this
I
individual.
know it's an unpopular opinion, but hear me out on this one.
All right. So the blue dragon is going to tell you why child labor should be brought back. It's an unpopular opinion, folks, but let's hear him out. They might have a good point.
Our society would benefit enormously from bringing back child labor. If you don't know what that is, during the Industrial Revolution, many manual labor jobs were replaced by machines. Those jobs didn't require heavy lifting, and the machines were simple enough to operate even by children. Children typically were cheaper to hire, so doing so became common practice.
And why do you think children were cheaper to hire? It's almost like they were exploited.
Now, due to some constitutional thing, child labor was outlawed in the 1930s, and I think this is what really started America on its downward spiral. It became cheaper for...
Okay. I hope this person isn't serious. I really hope this is like a joke channel that I've stumbled on, and this is just like an elaborate fucking character that this person has made, because I refuse to believe that there is a blue fucking dragon furry out here who who is advocating for us to return to child labor, because that's what made America great, folks. It was children in sweatshops.
companies to manufacture their products in other countries where child labor was still cheap and legal, which is what we still do today. If we were to bring child labor back to the United States, companies would be able to afford making things here instead. Why should Chinese children be profiting off of us when we could just hire American children to do the same thing?
Alright, I'll explain to my friend the blue dragon over here. The Chinese children aren't profiting. If you can call working in a Nike sweatshop making like, $1 a day profit, you're crazy, my friend. It's not like they are gleaning any kind of reward that we could be gleaning over here. It's not like they're living La Vida Loca over in those Chinese sweatshops, my friend.
Not only would it give them jobs, but it would lower prices of various goods for us and increase our nation's GDP. About 23% of the population of the US is under 18. That's a huge untapped workforce. People raise the argument, what about school? Well, we already know our education system is broken. 37% of Americans are functionally illiterate, so why even bother wasting 12 years of people's lives? And
Jesus fucking Christ. Please. Please. I don't. Like, let's just have all the kids be fucking stupid and, like, never teach them their ABCs and use them as pack mules. What could go wrong with just a vastly uneducated, illiterate population whose only skills involve, working in a factory setting? That sounds like a fucking nightmare scenario. No future, no upwards mobility for these fucking kids, I guess.
instead, get them started working early. By the time they're adults, they'll be masters in their craft. Not only will a nation save
But what if your task is like just pushing a button or something? Uh, a very mundane, repetitive task. There's such a thing called alienation from one's work, alienation from in the workforce, and that kind of thing, comes into effect. You get a kid and you say, "All right, kid, you're gonna have to like push this button every 20 seconds, and don't mess up the timing." You sit them down for a few hours, you come back, that kid's gonna be bored as fuck and hate their life. Uh, Now you force them to do that to earn a living, and there you go. You got child labor.
Millions on education, but the government will be actually making money through taxes. President Trump talks about bringing industry back to America, and I think legalizing child labor would be a huge step in that direction. We could
You know, that actually sounds like something Donald Trump would consider doing. This guy and Trump, I think, are on the same mental wavelength, which should really tell you something.
incentivize companies to hire American children by price matching what they pay kids overseas. You know,
Oh, yes. Okay, so, kids paid overseas, $1 a day to make Nike shoes in a factory sweatshop somewhere. Let's just pay American kids the exact same wage.
nine is half
Or if anything, let's undercut them. Let's pay them less so that companies will be incentivized to hire American children.
of 18, so if 18-year-olds are making minimum wage, we could just pay 9-year-olds half. 4 to 5-year-olds would
Wait. Let's go back. This is some conservative economics right here.
American children by price matching what they pay kids overseas. You know, 9 is half of 18, so if 18-year-olds are making minimum wage, we could just pay 9-year-olds half.
What the fuck? What world is this person living in? Let's pay fucking 9-year-old kids half of minimum wage. So what, if you're 4.5, are you going to be paid a quarter minimum wage? How does, when does the scaling stop?
4 to 5-year-olds would be making a quarter of minimum wage.
Holy shit, he said it, dog. 4 to 5-year-olds. So he is literally wanting 4-year-olds. Kids who are barely able to pick their own boogers. Running around a factory floor. Doing God's knows what. Getting crushed by machines. And not being taught the wonders of our world with education. Not being taught how to read or basic science or basic math. None of that stuff. Life skills that can make you smart. None of that for poor little Timmy. Now, poor little Timmy gets to work in a factory at the age of 4. He's not even in kindergarten yet, and he's making a quarter minimum wage. I'm sure he'll be a master of his craft if he lives long enough, if he somehow makes it to the ripe old age of 18 without getting crushed or maimed.
Not exactly sure how all the math works out. We might need to go a little bit lower than that to price match, but, they're kids. They don't know the value of money. We could also come at this...
This guy's gotta be a troll. This guy can't be... It can't be real. This can't be real, ladies and gentlemen. I refuse. I fucking refuse. My brain can't comprehend this level of stupidity.
from the perspective that it would lower crime, specifically gang activity. It's estimated that about 2% of kids nationwide, that's about 1.5 million kids, are involved with gangs. If we could employ those kids instead, we could reduce those numbers significantly. I think this would be especially effective because a lot of those kids join gangs out of necessity. They come from poor families. So
Yeah, because, you're really making bank when you're making a quarter minimum wage. I'd rather turn to dealing drugs and doing gang crime than fucking work in a factory at the age of 4. That sounds like hell, dude.
So if we give them jobs, not only does it give them something to do, but it also increases household income. I think the real crime here is that poor kids aren't allowed to work, to be honest. A third way to think about this is the effects it would have on unemployment. If we took the initiative to employ the 23% of the nation under 18, that unemployment percentage would be significantly lower, just due to the sheer amount.
So what about the people who are over 18 who still won't have jobs? You haven't solved unemployment, you've just expanded the amount of and the age range of workers. That hasn't solved unemployment for them. The old people, are still not going to have jobs. You're still going to be up shit creek without a paddle. Just because your company goes out and hires a bunch of children, doesn't make it any better for Tom, Dick, or Harry who doesn't have a fucking job. I don't understand this guy. His fucking solutions they make more problems than they would actual solutions to anything. You start hiring children, what jobs are going to be left for, grown-ups? I don't know.
Amount of people.
And I mean, I'm sure he's talking about unskilled labor here. So, I mean, how many unskilled labor jobs are there really out there? If you expand the hiring age all the way down from age 4 to age 18, well, then you can hire a shit ton more people, but it won't necessarily be, older people. So, yeah, it kind of sucks for them.
Who do have jobs by comparison. Now, there has been some concern over the safety of the children. Back in the Industrial Revolution, there was an issue where kids were often hired to clean or repair large machines because they were the only people small enough to fit inside them. This led to numerous kids getting mauled by the machines.
Yeah, it's kind of a problem.
It wasn't entirely uncommon for them to lose limbs. This is a legitimate concern because on top of just working in factories, kids are useful for cleaning out ventilation shafts and things of that nature.
Hey, Timmy, go get up in that vent and clean it out. I'll pay you $quarter minimum wage.
And it's understandable that there are some safety concerns.
It's okay. You don't have any concept of money, so, here you go. Obviously unsafe work conditions. Here you go, Timmy.
But technology has advanced quite a bit since then, at least in the US. Robotic prosthetics are becoming more and more advanced as well as affordable. It won't be long until robotic prosthetics are seen as better than the limbs you were born with. In the near future, it won't be uncommon to see people having limbs removed purposefully in order to benefit from the advantages robotic prosthetics can give. I think it's fair to say...
No! God! I'm seriously, I'm about to pee my pants. This can't be real. I have legitimate tears coming to my eyes because this can't be real. This guy is like, oh, it's okay if the kids get their arms or legs caught in the machines. If they get torn off brutally in a factory accident, the boss will just replace their limbs with fancy prosthetic limbs for children that he pays $quarter minimum wage. Somehow the boss will be like, oh, okay, since you had this accident, let me buy you a $6 million prosthetic arm. No strings attached. My bad. Sorry for making you crawl into that machine, little Timmy, and tear your arm off. Yeah, that's really gonna happen. This is a very realistic scenario.
To say that kids love robot limbs. Full Metal Alchemist, for example, is one of the top-rated anime of all time, and one of the main quirks from that universe that people like is the automail. Ask any kid if he would like to have an automail arm, and I'm sure he would tell you yes.
Hey, little Timmy, do you want a robot arm? Oh yeah, sure, that sounds awesome. Okay, cool. Well, first off, just get your real arm torn off by this machine in a very brutal fashion, and then we'll patch you right up. No thanks. That doesn't sound too fun.
Just seems like common sense to me. In closing, the reasons to bring back child labor are pretty compelling. I think it should really be...
They're compelling, folks. I mean, you can give kids robot arms. You can pay 4-year-olds $quarter minimum wage. You can shove them into ventilation shafts. I mean, holy shit. Maybe they'll grow up and they'll be as well adjusted as this furry is. I mean, you never know.
Plenty of countries are doing it and it's working great for them. I think it's time that America steps up. I've gone ahead and created a change.org petition. Maybe if we can get 100,000 signatures.
He's got one signature so far in the petition. Donald J. Trump, bring back child labor. That is just
we can bring it
pathetic.
To President Trump's attention. I feel like he's the right person for this, someone who I know would really listen to it, and that's why I support him. And if you want to support me in what I do, I have a Patreon. For $5, you get access to my Discord, which is not a cult. If you've heard that, it's not true. It's just a perfectly healthy, philosophical, and spiritual movement.
A perfectly healthy, Philosophical and spiritual movement, Kothism, analyze everything. Um, let's see. He's got 88 patrons. That is sad. God, Jesus Christ. Jesus fucking Christ. 88 people think that this dude's opinions are worth supporting. You know, hell, maybe if you're like a furry artist or something, you make some cool artwork. Uh, and the whole reason why I don't shit on furries is because I'm sort of half a furry myself. After all, my avatar is Donkey Kong, a modified version of Donkey Kong. And so, I can't really call somebody out because, after all, my moniker is an ape. So, you know, I can't really make fun of the dude for being a blue dragon, but I can definitely make fun of a blue dragon who is a cult leader who has 88 patrons and who says we should bring back child labor because it would be really cool to give children robot arms and it would make America great again. That is just holy shit. Let's try to see the petition. Oh, well, this is embarrassing. Couldn't find the page. You're telling me this is embarrassing. Holy shit. Uh, so yeah, that's what a right-wing furry looks like, ladies and gentlemen. Very disturbing.